It's, yeah, we have Kate's online. Sarah Jacobs office. It's 7:01. I'm going to go ahead and call the meeting to order. And the first item is roll call. So Bob is not here. John?
Here.
Alex?
Here.
Andy is out sick. Bettina?
Here.
Rita, Emily?
Here.
Jen?
Here.
Kristen?
Here.
Laura?
Here.
Sonia?
Here.
And Richard is not here. We do have a quorum. All right, just real quick, before we start, I have notified a few people. I got an email from the planning department. They are pushing everyone to take planning a lot sooner than just when we feel like it. So everybody in this group, except for a couple of people, have already taken the training online if you didn't attend on the 29th. But Marlon sent me an email and said if they don't take it, they're not eligible to serve on the board. So a few people will have to get it in gear.
That's the training that I had already done.
Yes, and I did ask,
Okay.
and he said, no, you do not have to retake it since you just took it in March.
Okay.
So it's usually good for you.
Don't have to retake,
I just took it in March.
but didn't have all the new stuff. We, at our CPC meeting, we were told we all had to retake it.
I specifically asked and he said no.
Right, okay.
Okay. Next up, adoption of the agenda. Excuse me, do we have any changes for the agenda? Or adopt, okay? Yep, okay. Agenda is adopted as is without objection. Next, communication from the public on non-agenda items. Do we have anyone going to take people here first, Laura? Yes. Sure.
How many minutes, ma'am?
You have 3 minutes.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Your name. Your name. Your name, ma'am.
My name is Farida Barber. Javier. Ceramics manufacturing and kiln operating has been operating as home occupation business since 1984 at 5238 Springview Drive, San Diego, California, 2105. The neighborhood dedicated as residential zone, it is known to be producing toxicity, in parentheses, poison gases from its kiln, fumes, other airborne chemicals, particulates, and dust. The potential impact to health and safety is real, and so we sought help starting on June 13, 2021. Before the Police Fire Hazard Materials Department and Pollution Control District, City, District 9 Consulate Office, but they cannot stop the operation simply because the owner has business permit. City Code Enforcement Division responded to Supervisor Elizabeth Brennan as follows. No violation, Rule 11 exempt. City municipal code. Get a lawyer. Land use and environment to validate, refer the case to air pollution district. Case closed. We opened the case and referred it again to Environment Protection Agency, and this time responded declaring that they cannot revoke the permit, but will investigate and determine the limit of permit. The home-based business, ceramics manufacturing, and kiln operation in the neighborhood designated as residential zone is in violation of the following. Number one, use,
California.
PA land use and planning laws on the use of variance. Number two, California environment and land use laws on nuisance. Number three, San Diego city home occupation ruling July 2020 on nuisance. Number four, social justice, because the business owners are the only business residential owner of the OMC industrial action by to declare. Number four.
Mrs. Sanchez, your time is up. Thank you for your comments.
Sorry, we are all victims of poison gassing,
Okay.
so
Thank you for your comments.
our, this is only example now. We
Okay.
could not reproduce, we have
All right.
exhausted our resources from all meetings.
Okay, thank you very much.
I am Cesar Javier, my wife, who has been there since 1997. I came in by blessing 2012. As a teacher and a teacher in chemistry, I said, what is this smoke? What is this? Tell me. So he guided me. And
Mr. Sanchez, are you speaking now as a public comment in addition to Mrs. Sanchez's comments?
Mom, excuse me.
Are you also speaking now for 3 minutes?
Yes, ma'am, because
Okay.
this is this is a 40 years
Okay,
issue, ma'am.
then please proceed.
And we could only tell this to you in 6 minutes, so bear with us, please.
Okay.
The kiln is here, like an engineering English speaking. And we have schools here, Waldo and the Marshall Elementary. Pupils, students walk and attend classes here. We told them it's not only us, but the children here. And since I was there, I observed that there were deaths. 5 years ago, elders and cigarette, smokers on the western side. The name is Pio. The husband, the wife of the husband, former husband, passed away to here. All these crosses, proximity to this toxic generation, industrial activity, economic activity. Is there a correlation? I hope no correlation, but I fear because of the poison gas harming the air we breathe. Fear, like what our doctors have found in us in their diagnosis. We fear because it's death. It leads to cancer. Lung cancer. Sir, ma'am, I would like to sum this up. We have started to report this since 2021. And our district, I tell you, I cannot only describe, but we are failures to get their attention. And so we are hopping from one city planning to another. Air pollution control district, county supervisors board meeting, city, every month. Committee on neighborhood, committee on land use, committee on whatnot. Next, we will be attending this public safety. We would like, please, to record this and convey it to the hierarchy in our political system. This is not for us only. This is a public nuisance. This is a public safety issue. all issue for survival. Asian Americans, Latino Americans, Vietnamese, Chinese, Cambodian, Lao. And I must read you this. Please, citizens by birth or choice of a common country, that country has the right to concentrate affections. The name of America, which belongs to you in your national capacity, must always exalt the just pride of patriotism more than any affiliation derived from local discrimination. It's not us, it's our children's children. I tell you, I have been a soldier, I have been a builder, I have been a teacher, and I could not resist resisting. Please help us.
Thank you, Mr. Sanchez. Thank you for your comments. Laura, there's one online I'm going to take, and then I'll take use iPhone. Is that Becky Rath?
Yes, hi, it is. It's Becky
Becky.
Rapp.
You have 3 minutes, Becky.
Hi, great. Thank you. Good evening. My name is Becky Rapp, and I wanted to come here tonight to share with you some good news regarding the budget that was approved by the mayor and council. The SEED program, or the Socially Equitable Cannabis Program, has been a cut. The SEED program would have brought potentially 36 more pot shops to the city, many of them potentially locating south of the 8. So, you know, parents are grateful as money can be much better spent on youth drop-in centers, community and recreation centers, as well as victims of the January floods. All much more pressing and concerning areas of the community. When discussing the final budget, there were 2 council members, Foster and Moreno, who did state that they plan to revisit the ordinance. So I do encourage you to stay informed and continue to speak out regarding what is most beneficial in your community and what should continue to be prioritized. I also wanted to share with you a recent article that was published in the LA Times a week ago, and it's titled, "How Dirty is Your Weed?" A joint investigation by the Times and cannabis industry newsletter Weed Week found that most pot products sold in permitted pot shops are not safe. The Times and Weed Week purchased dozens of marijuana products from retail stores and tested them at private labs. Out of 42 products tested, 25 had concentrations of pesticides above either state allowed levels or current federal standards for tobacco. The contaminants included chemicals tied to cancer, liver failure, thyroid disease, and genetic and neurologic harm to users and unborn children. The DCC, the California Department of Cannabis Control, has yet to pose new ordinances regulating the industry. And the regulations that they do have in place are left up to local law enforcement to manage and enforce. With an already strained department, many of these regulations go unreported. So please be vigilant in speaking to local government officials and state representatives. So we need stronger regulations on marijuana industry, and we need and we are grateful that the city has pulled back on expanding more of these pot shops in and around our communities. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Becky. Laura, you had a non-agenda
Just
comment?
2 quick things. One is that Larry Turner, who is an independent candidate running for mayor against Gloria, is going to have a get together on July 30th at the Rolando college area library, starting at 5:30. It's a Tuesday. And if I encourage everybody to go and learn more about him. And then number 2 is that the top 10 issues of the blueprint subcommittee for the CPC have been put together in one final 1-page form, and I will be sending it to Lynn to send out to everybody. The Blueprint San Diego issue is coming up to City Council on July 23rd. You will have they usually give you between the Thursday before the Tuesday to get comments in, so you can go in and make comments. And I encourage everybody to do that.
Okay. All right, thank you. One more back here and then I'll take John. Yes, hi Renee.
Hi, I just wanted to put out a shout out to Jen from Redwood Village Community Council. She came to our coffee meetup for our new Redwood Village Neighborhood Watch. And we really appreciated her showing up. It was a great success. And so we're really happy about that. And we just wanted to, she's not here, but maybe you can convey to her.
She's online.
Oh, she's there.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah.
we just wanted to give a
She's
shout
from
out to her.
Webster.
It was really great. We had a lot of
She's from
people
Webster.
show up.
Good. A good issue.
Oh, there
Um,
she is. Thank you, Jen.
Thank you. Your last name is Jones?
Yeah.
For the minutes? Okay, Renee Jones.
Thank you.
Thank you. And John, you also had a non-agenda comment?
I just wanted to, on behalf of the residents of Redwood Village, I wanted to convey our dismay about the lack of any sort of progress on the cleanup of Choice Parkway, the removal of the storage bins. A year ago, I had a meeting with Lucero and Berto and a bunch of people who worked for the city out here, and sat around or stood around for an hour in the sun. And during that time, we were told, oh yeah, we're going to get this place cleaned up. We're going to move these trucks and we're going to get all the, the homeless people who are living in the creek moved out. And it's been more than a year now and nothing's happened. And there is toxic material flowing into Choyasa Creek, which we supposedly care so much about. And who knows what other nefarious activities are going on there. I just wanted to say that we're not happy in Redwood Village. So
Thank you. Okay, thank you. Any other non-agenda comments?
If I may.
Yeah, sure. Oliver Walker.
Well, my name is Oliver Walker. I am the block captain of the Neighborhood Watch, Redwood Village Neighborhood Watch. And I just wanted to say hello, introduce myself. Not here to compete with anything going on with the community. Here to do quite the opposite. I want to synergize our efforts. And another thing is I don't really, be honest with you, I really don't know, how to do what I'm doing right now, So if anybody has any constructive criticisms, I'm open to that. And please feel free to approach me and we can talk about it. That would be that. But I just wanted to say hello. I'm here. I'm available. We can exchange information afterwards. And I'm willing to have a dialogue. I want to work with everyone. That's all I can. Thanks.
Okay. Thanks, Oliver. Any other non-agenda comments? Nope. Okay, we're going to move on to representative reports. First, Bruce Williams is not going to be here tonight. I do have his cell number if anyone needs to reach him. Also, Lucero's not here. I did email out a very lengthy report. They seem to have the same conflicting schedule tonight, so neither one is here. So first up, we have Kate Needham Cano. She is a community representative and the Military and Veterans Liaison for Congresswoman Sarah Jacobs' office. Hi, Kate.
Hi, thank you so much. It's great to see everybody. I have several updates for you. So first we'll start in Washington, D.C. The Congresswoman and Congresswoman Jen Kiggins both introduced bipartisan legislation, which is going to support the co-location of military childcare facilities within affordable housing for military members. So that will be very helpful for the military community if everything goes through as planned. She also secured over 3 dozen priorities in the National Defense Authorization Act that are in support of military families, raising the BAH and pay levels for folks, keeping guardrails on automated weapon systems, and aligning defense and foreign policy goals. She also introduced the Senator Wyden, the bicameral Student Loan Servicers Accountability Act, which is going to examine student loan servicers' role in hurting borrowers' credit ratings and ensure additional strict performance standards and harm reductive contract terms. In the district, which is what I always like to focus on, we just attended a naturalization ceremony for about 40 people on the USS Midway. The Congresswoman was one of the featured speakers with Congressman Vargas. It was a beautiful ceremony. All the folks being sworn in as new American citizens are military that are serving in all 4 branches from multiple places across the world. So that was really amazing to see come to fruition. She also went to the Moxie Theater to learn about their efforts to create more diverse and honest images of women and women in the arts. She also went to the San Diego Humane Society, which was pretty adorable, and saw their new adoption center. And then she also visited Cuppa Cuppa, which is a really cool coffee restaurant that we just had all found about in the office. So she was very excited to go there and got to meet with the owners and had some really meaningful conversation. And then, of course, as always, if you need any help with a federal agency like the VA, the IRS, the Post Service, please get in contact with our office. You can find all of the information on our website. And my last thing is a pitch for the Service Academy. Because I'm the military liaison, I will be running Service Academy nominations for our office again this year. So if you know a student in 9th through 12th grade who is interested in applying to attending one of the service academies, which means West Point, the Naval Academy, Air Force Academy, etc., please feel free to connect them directly with me so that I can help mentor them through that process and explain to them, as long as they are a constituent, how to get a nomination from our office as well. And that's all I have tonight.
Okay, thanks, Kate. Do you have a digital flyer for that you could send so that I could put it out on social media?
I do not, but I can have our comms team make one.
Okay, that would be great. And
Sure.
we'd love to share that out on our social media for you too.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. I'm hoping we get more students this year. We had 15 appointed last year. It was great.
Always looking for one from Rolando Park, always hopeful.
Yes.
Does anyone have any questions for Kate? Okay, I'm gonna move on. Next up, Karen hasn't been here before. Karen Montefiore Federico. She's a senior community representative for County Supervisor Monica Montgomery Stepp's office. And Karen will be joining us as a rep from here on. Karen, you're up.
Hi, everyone. Hi, as mentioned, I am the senior community representative for Supervisor Montgomery Stepp. I have a couple of the Eastern area neighborhoods that fall within County District 4. I am here to help assist with any county related services that you may need help with. So I will leave my email in the chat or send it to you, Lynn, and you can give it to the group. Just wanted to share a little bit about the supervisor, even though I'm sure some of you may already be aware. But her pillars of governance, haven't changed since, being at the city, those being economic opportunities for all, housing and homelessness, reimagining public safety, and creating safe and healthy communities. There are a couple opportunities that I want to mention. First being our boards and commissions opportunities. So we have 13 remaining vacancies on a variety of different topics, from some really random topics like fly abatement, gnat abatement, to civil service commission, and that we need District 4 representatives. So we are accepting those on a rolling basis through the end of the year. We are hoping to fill all of our seats by the end of the year. So Lynn, I will share a flyer with those remaining vacancies that you can share to the group too, which is really exciting. Every year each supervisor has a discretionary funding for their grants program. There's 2 programs, community enhancement and 2 neighborhood reinvestment. The main difference is that The neighborhood reinvestment is to be used for one-time funds, mainly also for construction, infrastructure, and it cannot be used for salaries. Through our community enhancement program, organizations, public agencies can request to pay for salaries through that. So we do see that quite often. With the new fiscal year starting July 1st, we have a new pot of money. So we have approximately $2 million of neighborhood reinvestment and $1 million of community enhancement. We will be sharing more details about when we will be reviewing those applications, because we will only be reviewing and making awards at certain points of the year. But just want to put it out there so you can sign up for our newsletter, and so you can keep updated with when that will happen. Lastly, you may have heard in the news about the county looking at putting in sleeping cabins in Lemon Grove. It's, sort of right next door to Eastern area. So at the upcoming Board of Supervisors meeting on July 16th, the county will be coming forth to the Board of Supervisors about what can potentially happen at a site at Troy Street and Sweetwater Road. The office will be hosting a community forum on July 18th to share more information about what happened at the July 16th Board of Supervisors meeting and what that's going to mean to the community. So Lynn, I'll send you information for all of that, but that's it for me. Thanks for listening to my report.
Thanks, Karen. Yeah, please keep us updated on those timelines for the grant programs. I know we're looking at one for Rolando Park. So anyway, thanks. Any questions for Karen? No. Okay, thank you very much, Karen.
Thank you.
And last up is Roberta Marin, community representative for Council Member Sean Elo Rivera's office. Hi, Roberta.
Hey, Lynn. Hey, how are you guys? Good. Roberta
Yeah.
Marin, community rep for Council President Sean Elo Rivera's office. Nice to be with you guys tonight. I first wanted to address John's comments real quick. We have been active in the area. It might not be active in the past 2 to 3 weeks, but I don't think it's fair for the council member and for me to say that we've done nothing. We've been active since the first day I've gotten there. The council member has regularly met with the chief and has flagged to the chief about these nefarious activities. We've flagged it when there was a shooting death there last year, and we continue to flag it to the chief and to the captain of Mid-City. We've also been working with the mayor's office on this, and while we have been fortunate to see some results, it's not enough, and I share that frustration with you because we made multiple attempts with the mayor's office to see any movement on Troyes Parkway. I have followed up. There's emails on that. Feel free. I'm happy to give it to y'all if you don't believe me. But we have been advocating for months on speeding up the process for the storage connect centers and also just the trash in there. We've submitted numerous requests to ESD on trying to do more trash pickup and abatement there. We flagged it for PD so they can do more abatement as well. I share your frustration, John. I really do. The council member does too. I talked to him a couple of days ago and we were talking about Troyes Parkway and we're frustrated about the slow lack of progress that has occurred. But I'm happy to revisit and try to go back to the drawing board to see what we can do differently. But I just wanted to first touch on that. And the last thing as well, and I know Richard sent an email to myself and Lucero about the regulations and all that. You are right. The only thing is from what I was told and understood, that there's not enough city staff to enforce that. That is a pure operational decision. That is not something that the city council president has authority over. So therefore that is a mayoral question and that is a mayoral response in terms of the operations aspect. So I wanted to clear that up as well for Richard, which I think he still has a question. Pivoting to a couple other things, we're looking to do more community walks in the area. I know something that was mentioned a couple months ago was doing one on Choice Parkway. I am more than happy to schedule one. The council member is more than happy to walk that stretch. He does not mind. We just want to really hear from residents, and it seems like Choice Parkway is still an issue, and it has been for over a year. So we're more than happy to set that up, John, and to the Redwood Village residents, if that's something of interest, not only in Choice Parkway, but Streamview, and also Dane Ridge and 60th Street. So if that is of interest, please let me know. We do have a couple of University Avenue cleanups. If you are not informed on this, City Heights CDC is actually taking over the MAD in the area. So while it doesn't directly affect Eastern area, it kind of does, because it goes all the way up to 54th and University to that corner. So they actually are going to start doing, weed abatement, cleaning the sidewalks, planting trees. So we should see more action, and the whole office is going to be participating for 4 weeks straight, starting tomorrow from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. The meetup will be at Toronto Park, and then we will split up all over the corridor of University Avenue. So cleaning up graffiti, picking up trash, weed abatement, etc. So if you're happy, if you want to go ahead and join us, please let me know. There is a flyer that I will also send to Len after this meeting. Yeah, those are the high level things. Actually, one more. We have 5 new interns. So I am going to be leading those interns in community engagement. So if you have any ideas on how to engage your community more, if you want to educate your community on certain things, please let me know. I'm happy to coordinate that with our brand new interns.
Okay, thank you very much. Questions, Richard?
Hi, thank you, Roberto, for the report, and just a clarification. And you are correct. It's an operational thing because the department heads and the COO who are responsible for that. I can tell you from experience that the city has been out of compliance with their permit with the state for allowing illegal discharges to that segment of the creek. And as you know, and I think I sent Lucero the it's too dangerous for me to get on my car and take pictures on Choice Parkway. That's how bad it's got. So, but I explained it very clearly. They started popping the manholes. Anytime, in my experience, 18 years experience, anytime someone pops a manhole, especially there's an RV next to it, or just car camper stuff, they're throwing stuff into the manhole. And this is not a sewer manhole. This is goes directly to the creek. So, at this point, I think as a resident, I am elevating it. And what I would highly encourage Lucero in the mayor's office is to speak with Todd Snyder, who is the department head for stormwater. And also to CC, oh God, I forget his name, the COO, who is over the department heads. The mayor is not over the department heads. The COO is over the department heads. And that's the only way it's going to get done. And it's just gotten worse, as you already know. But we don't want the county, or not the county, the city, get hit with a $400,000 fine from the regional board. So that's where I'm coming from at this particular point. Over 2 administrations, it's just simply has gotten worse. And I'm just going to leave it at that. All right, thank you.
Thanks, Richard. Danielle, did you have a question?
Yes,
Robert?
actually 2 comments. For Richard, I think the man's name that you were looking for was Eric Dargan, COO. And for Roberto, could you please share that tomorrow there is a Storage Connect 1 and 2 meeting at 5:30? Could you share that with all of your contacts in D9? And it would be nice that a lot of people would show up to this Storage Connect 1 and 2 meeting and ask what the timeline is for removing the storage bins, because they've stopped taking new intakes as of about a month ago. It's a Zoom meeting and it starts at 5:30.
Yeah, happy to connect with folks on that meeting and sending that to Lynn as well.
Okay, and that's for John also. Thanks.
Okay. Thanks, Danielle. Any questions for Roberto, Cesar, and then Tim? Cesar?
Go ahead, go ahead.
No, I'm asking you.
¿Cómo está, amigo? Mr.
Good,
Roberto,
Caesar. Good, Caesar. Go ahead.
¿cómo está, amigo?
Bien, bien.
Okay, gracias. You know, you have so many advices and I am following it. We have been shouting at the mayor's office. We have been shouting at your boss, council president, but they do not hear my voice, our voice. Please, you do not have only the salary, you tell your boss. You have also milk from milking cows. Please do your job. Please be honest. Please be wise. He is our representative at the Air Pollution Control District. How many times did he absent himself? Many, many. We do not hear here at the grassroots those instructions, those plans and programs of the Air Pollution Control District. Remember, survival means clean air, clean water, and clean and safe neighborhood. Where are we now, mi amigo, mi amor? Thank you.
Thanks, Caesar. I'm gonna have to respond to you there, my friend. We have been paying attention for over 2 years. We've done numerous reports for the Air Pollution Quality Control District. We've done with the county, we've done with the city. There is no evidence of any wrongdoing. We've gone through the proper channels. We've gone through local, state, federal agencies. They have found zero evidence of any wrongdoings. And actually right now, there is an investigation on your property for some violations. So I want to be clear that we have done our due diligence. The council president does care. We have asked for 2 years with 3 different representatives, Ben Mendoza, Martha, and myself, and there have been no substantial or credible, basically anything that would back your basically your inquiry up. So I just want to make that clear. We have been doing a lot for the past 3 years, but there has been nothing that has been found. And yeah, that's pretty much what I have. I have the emails, the correspondence as well to back that up. There's nothing much we can do. I don't control the mayor's office. I don't control the Air Pollution Control District. So yeah.
Okay, thank you, Roberto. Tim, you had a question for Roberto.
Were you behind that? We have 2 speed things on screen view that tells you the speed. And now there's a little 15-mile-per-hour. Were you behind there? I want to know who's behind it. So
City engineering.
was it planned a long time ago? Okay, that's what I was wanting. Okay.
So the engineering did.
You have to see it.
That was
When you go 15, it doesn't monitor.
That was part of the city engineering
Oh, okay.
response to April Mahoney's request. She wanted speed humps coming to the roundabouts. And traffic engineering said no, but they were willing to put in the radar speed signs, which were installed this past week. So it is now a 15-mile enter into the 2 roundabouts there. Okay, no other questions for Roberto? We're going to move on to our action items tonight. And one of them will impact how we do our meetings from here on, thankfully. So a little background for new people. Last year, when we had to come back to doing in-person meetings, you could have a meeting at your house, or you could Zoom, as long as you were willing to share your address and make your house open to anyone who wanted to come by and join the meeting. I will say that Lorna actually emailed me. She was so mad at one point. She said, well, couldn't I just get chairs and do it out in my front yard? And then she thought better of it. And so the city did eventually see the wisdom of letting us go back to doing Zoom meetings if we want to, because frankly, a lot of people told them they were a little frightened to put their personal address out there. So we can structure this however we want to. We're way ahead of what a lot of other groups are doing in that we've been doing hybrid meetings since last April. We can go however the group wants to go. Personally, I think one of the best things I've seen is that we have a lot more community engagement since we do have in-person meetings again. But having that option for everybody to decide, you know, we need more people from the community to come, however you can get here. And should that also be an option for board members within reason? I will say last year when our community council started meeting in person, Sonia and I were sometimes 2 of the 4 people there. And this year it's much better. We have 15 to 20 people at every meeting in person and 15 to 20 people generally online. So, and that's the beauty of what we're doing here, I think, not tonight because this isn't very exciting for most people. Oh, teleconferencing. But big neighborhood items that we've talked about in the last year and a half. Stream View, this room has been overflowing with people talking about Stream View. The new Oak Park Library. I want to give a lot of props to Alita because she has really led an outreach effort to get people in this area and particularly in Oak Park to show up and tell the city what they wanted to see in the new library. So that's the benefit of doing in person, and you can't do that on Zoom all the time. But it should also be convenient for board members sometimes. The way it is now, I mean, Richard's online, Jen's online tonight. I knew that Jen would not be able to be here. They're not going to be able to vote tonight because we've always had to have people in person as part of this. So I'm just saying we can decide how we want to do it. Our operating procedures will get updated and I'll send that to the planning department. It is whatever we want to do, how we want to structure it. We do not meet in December. We're dark that month. Maybe we want to designate a few months when we just Zoom. Maybe we want to allow people to take a certain number of meetings by Zoom, but attend a certain number in person as well. So it's open for discussion. I looked today, I went out and looked a little bit to see who's doing what. Normal Heights always does hybrid meetings. I say Kensington decided last month that they will do it as they see fit, but this month is a Zoom meeting for them. The Choice View Planning Group does hybrid meetings. City Heights is strictly in person.
Yeah.
A lot of people strictly have it's such a mix. We can decide what we want to do. We just need to tell the city.
Okay.
And we should also think, last thing to think about that is, it does depend on technology too, having technology to be able to do it. So if we don't have the technology, I think that means that we have to put a clause in our procedures that explains that if we cannot do that, then we have to go back to in-person meetings on. So anyway, just throwing it out there for discussion. Thoughts, Laura?
One of the things is that with this new amendment, the people who attend online will be able to vote.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's good.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
And I think Kensington is having trouble finding a location for in-person meetings, so they may go to all Zoom meetings.
Yeah.
I would really prefer if we stay hybrid, where we have in-person and with the ability to be online. And one of the people at CPC mentioned that he's a father. There's no way he can really make meetings except by Zoom. So it would, in certain circumstances, maybe we should say one meeting in person rather than per year, rather than making it mandatory, because he said he wouldn't be able to participate.
Yeah, I think it helps diversity if we give the flexibility for people to,
Yeah.
Maybe just one requirement
Yeah.
rather than a majority. I don't know.
I'm afraid that one will become abused too easily though. And I don't want to come in some night and find out I'm the only person sitting in. And,
No, I get it.
yeah. So
What would we be required in advance to indicate whether we were gonna be on Teams or on Zoom rather than be in person?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Kristen?
Maybe we can have a rotational thing so that it doesn't fall on you to be here to set things up and everybody can decide when they want to be here, or, I mean, I know that we used to have a board member, Tanner, and
Mhm.
he had to drop off because he
Mhm.
didn't have childcare.
Well,
So
Yeah.
it could grow the board to
Mm-hmm.
have it hybrid and then make certain exceptions for people that would like to join but don't have childcare.
Or,
Or if they're not well, or whatever their
Yeah, caregiver.
circumstances.
or maybe they attend in person once a quarter.
Mhm.
We have,
Yeah.
Sometimes people will get out of town, and
so
you can zoom in,
Mhm.
or something.
Right,
so,
I do.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Bettina?
I support the hybrid, but, and don't hate me, I really do feel that it's better for most of us to be here in person unless we can't, like someone with childcare or, I used to take care of my mom, which is why I dropped out of everything. And
Mhm.
if I could
Right.
have done
Mhm.
Zoom, I would have,
Mhm.
I could have just continued from many years ago. It was good. I took a break. I don't know. Um, but, um, but I do feel that the in-person is more important because we have better communication that way. And I feel like, the relationships are important, the interaction is
Mhm.
important, and people coming and being here physically is important.
Yeah.
Because on Zoom, it's always so impersonal. So
Mhm. And I think what would be sad is if you had 10 people show up and there's only 3 people sitting here.
yeah,
Yeah,
I'm sorry,
yeah.
that,
not be good.
that doesn't look like we care about our communities or that we're actually, engaged.
I'd probably always be a person unless I'm on vacation like Alex mentioned. or
Exactly.
something, But I think that would be my preference personally.
Mhm.
I mean, I can handle 2 hours once a month. It's not a big deal.
Yeah.
But to that point, having the option that if something happens, I'm late getting off of work or something like that, having the option to be able to call in.
Mhm.
And so to that point, once a quarter as a limitation to avoid people trying to do this every month or,
Right,
so
all
we
the
can
time.
have
Yeah,
the
once a
community.
quarter seems reasonable.
Mhm. Emily?
I agree. I mean, I work hybrid all day or all week, so
Mhm.
I like coming in person because I'm home by myself all day. But yeah, there are times where childcare is an issue, and
Mhm. And you'd like
Yeah.
to know that that's an
yeah,
option.
unless you want my kid standing there saying she's bored.
One thing I would say is that if somebody does have childcare issues, I think kids being in the audience, we have places for kids to sit. It's not like we're not unfriendly for kids area, so perhaps we could. put
It's
that out
just
there.
a late meet. I mean, my daughter comes to our community council meetings with us. She's generally the only kid there, but she's
But it
pretty
works.
good for an hour.
There
But
you go.
yeah, the 2 hours.
2 hours
Late
is
at night is a
pushing it,
little-
yeah.
And
More
Yeah.
kids
the
make
age.
that us be
Beyond
right.
bedtime.
But I think there's always exceptions, with my work, we ask people to be in the office 2 days a week, but there's always exceptions for people who just
Mhm.
can't do it for
Yeah.
personal reasons. So I think we should make that.
Case by case basis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the inclusion,
Yeah,
adding more
yeah,
people,
yeah.
giving that option.
Good. Jen and Richard, Jen first, then Richard, thoughts?
I just proved how parental Wi-Fi can be a bit spotty and I can get kicked off. But I travel a lot and I like the option to be able to zoom in, and even if I can't vote, I can still pay attention to what's happening and participate.
Okay. So, if we have you must be here once every quarter, attend
In person?
Yeah,
Oh, that seems fair.
yeah. Okay, Richard?
Yeah, we had this discussion before about people who, because they have other, childcare responsibilities and things like that, that they just can't make it in person, but the Zoom does work for them. And then on the other hand, like Linda, you had said, is that I've been in some Zoom meetings where there's almost like 26 people there, and then others where there's only like 5 people, you know? So I don't know what the problem is with that. But again, you know, and one of the problems we have with hybrids, at least, you know, in Oak Park, because we're trying to work this out, is that you have all this equipment you gotta set up, right? Just to do the hybrid. And I can see right now, look at the screen, I didn't even know Alex is there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, see, he's not showing on the screen. I thought, you know, anyways, so one thing that we might work with at Oak Park Community Council, and I'm not recommending this for the eastern area, but I think before the mayoral election, we actually had in-person meetings at the high school, oh, not the high school, at the elementary school. And there was lots of space there, lots of room there. And then we had someone walking through, I don't know all the technology, but they were doing like a live feed to next door. And some people like that. They got a lot of comments on, so we might try to explore that again. This is just for the Oak Park Community Council. I don't know if that would work for the eastern area. But for sure, you guys, we have a lot of room over there at Teen Challenge. And Lynn, we don't have to pay any janitors, do we?
No.
To open and clean, not open and close. So anyway, I guess I'm being very flippant right now. So I think either way works fine. You know, it's just we gotta find ways to get more people to attend.
Yeah. So you'll be okay once a quarter in person?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any other thoughts? Well, no, that's on the,
Yeah.
I forgot to move it out of the way again.
How would we set it up for people that want to join, let's say join the board, but they have childcare issues or a funky work schedule or whatever, and they can't attend once per quarter? Would that exclude them?
Would sort of think they'd have to figure out a way. I mean, it's,
okay.
We're talking about 4 times a year. That's really very,
Yeah.
you know.
Well, 'cause we're talking about childcare and stuff.
Yeah.
My husband will take it.
Right.
Okay.
And I mean, during summer months.
I don't have kids, so
Yeah.
I don't have these problems. I just have my dog. As long as I give her a treat, she's fine.
I think 4 times a year in person seems reasonable. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you need a motion?
Well, I sort of do, but on the other hand, what I'm thinking is, should make a motion to table this till next month. And I'll draft the language for it and we'll approve that. And then that's what I'll send to the city.
To Bob's point, or should we have some sort of notification if we're
protocol.
gonna be here?
If you're
a
not
week
gonna
in
be here,
advance or,
yeah. Would we contact you if we weren't gonna be here in advance?
I don't know, does it matter?
I was gonna say, yeah.
And I
You're
feel
on the
like
screen.
don't think-
everybody would not be showing up on the same night and you'd be here all alone. I just don't see that.
Right.
Well, the first time it happens will be. Believe me, you will hear about it.
Unless we do some kind of rotation, it'd be complicated.
But
Yeah,
the advance notice is very
Like courteous, yeah, yeah.
So out of curiosity, how many people will spend more time coming here than staying home? So
Yeah.
I don't think that's gonna be a problem.
Yeah. Okay. We just want to make sure that it's an option though for those who need it. And I always felt bad that Tanner had to leave because that was an issue. I think if he only had to be here once a quarter, he might have been able to work that.
Maybe he will come back.
Maybe. He was interesting. He's an interesting guy.
Yeah.
So if someone would like to make a motion to table this till next month,
I'll make that motion.
and Alex will second it. Roll call vote. Bob,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Alex, Bettina,
Yes.
Emily,
Yes.
Kristen,
Yes.
Laura,
Yes.
Sonia.
Yes.
All right. Moved unanimously. That'll be an action item next month, and I have the language. Marlon actually sent us a paragraph. I just need to figure out where to put it, the operating procedures. And identify orders and stuff like that.
Lynn, and it will be stated in some way. If we wanted to change it in the future to something else, we could, right?
Right. And there'll be a clause there that if we cannot provide the technology, it will have to be
Right.
in person.
Okay.
Yeah, meetings, something like that, because,
Yeah.
you never know what's going to happen in the future. I know. Okay, thanks, everyone. So on to infrastructure priorities. This is a 5-year outlook. So again, I just wanted a little bit of background here. Last year, the city decided to ignore input from planning groups, basically. We sent ours in anyway, and they just had a portal for anyone to put their information in. And this year, they did actually come to planning groups and ask us for our input. I don't know what kind of input they're getting from the general public, but it did sound like they're interested in ours again. So I sent out the list that we did in December because very few things made it. I will say one for Kristen. This actually happened, I think, before December because it's going to be done this year, and that's flashing beacons at Federal and 48th. That one is already in the works. So yay. Would love if we could take credit for it, but I'm just glad it's getting done.
Yeah, me too.
So do we want to basically use the CIP list then that we submitted in December? But we want to add to it? I mean, did any?
Yeah, that sounds like a good plan.
Yes.
One thing that I saw in the documents that Alex with the city sent out was the in the existing conditions, a long, huge list of CIP projects of where they are and different stages of things, and it might help us at least figure out if we want to just keep track of those or add them on.
That list is 25 years of CIP.
That's a twin.
Yes. I have my own thoughts about that. Number one, there's nothing to compare it to. So how do you know that $1 billion in infrastructure in the mid-city means anything unless you know that they spent $3 billion in University City, or the overall the city spent in that same 25-year period? What did the city spend in the other 41 planning areas?
You need to be able to put it in perspective.
I think it's sort of a data dump per se.
I didn't know this.
Yeah.
I was very impressed with all the stuff.
Well, I was really bad.
I didn't realize that it was just that long of a list. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
From
That means that we need to pay
1998.
better attention to our current list.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So when I sent out the last one we did, which was in 2021, and Alex was there, Richard was there, me, Linda Godoy. So we submitted 32 projects, and 14 of them, which is 41%, are projects that are in the works now or have been completed. So that's not too shabby, I think. It's just looking at if I need you to go back and look at the 5-year list plus our present list and see what we want to add. And I need you to do it like pretty soon.
Yeah.
Because this has to be submitted by August 15th.
Okay.
Okay. And the other thing is we do want to put this out and survey the communities. So I can actually, once I have a list from each community here, I can create some links on our homepage, and set up a survey, quick survey, in Google Forms. So if we can finalize our lists, in the next 2 weeks.
Get it out to the community for 2 weeks.
Or, yeah, and then send it to me and then get it out. I know some of it, we have a mailing list. You have a mailing list. We can also reach out, you know, in our communities, we can reach out to another 1,000 people on social media very easily. You have a mailing list, Kristen?
It's connected through our website, so it goes out to everybody.
Okay. Let me see, El Cerrito, you have a mailing list? Okay. And then how about Rolando?
Do we? Oh, okay.
Have a mailing list, okay. So we get our results. I'll create a survey. I can send you the links, or you can just direct people out to our website, because I'll just put it there on the homepage. And there'll be a link for each community, and that would take you to a Google form, a survey just for your community. And we would ask respondents to rank them, and then leave them room to add their own suggestions. I do it because people should do it, but we don't often get very good ideas. But it's a good idea to ask, offer
Yeah,
it up
there's
as-
opportunity.
Yeah.
Looking at the calendar, this is a great month for this kind of thing because the calendar works out to kind of 5 weeks.
Yes.
So just, I think with us getting information to you by the 23rd.
Yes.
Would be our deadline.
Okay.
And then out to the community for 2 weeks, and then it can have a compile for a vote, on the
12th.
Oh,
Is it the August 12th?
13th.
The 13th?
Yeah.
Yeah. So does that seem so sort of as an action item, I think will be some deadlines here that I have to have all of the items that you want to include in a survey by July 23rd. Okay. And then I will in turn set up the website and the Google Forms. Do you want to direct people to the form itself, or just direct them to the website and ask them to, I sort of think we should direct them to the website.
Me too. We
Really?
want to get
Okay.
them familiar with our website.
Yeah, we can go either way, it's fine.
We can do
People
both.
are
Either,
lazy and
yeah.
They can't find it
Yeah,
immediately.
we can
They're
do
not
both.
gonna-
Okay.
Link to the website. Can it go on the homepage? So
It'll
it's
be
like
right
the
on the
first thing
homepage.
you see when
Yeah,
you click on
It'll
there.
be right at the top, infrastructure survey. List the 6 communities. Will be a hyperlink that'll take you right to the Google form as quick as possible. Yeah, Kristen.
And as individual neighborhoods, are we thinking of limiting the amount of CIP projects that we turn in? Because I've found in the past that the fewer you turn in, the better your odds are, because if you have like 10 for your neighborhood, it tends to muddy the waters.
Yeah, no, I
So-
agree. I think
Maybe 2 or 3 at the most.
I would say 3 to 4 max. And then leave room for people to suggest things, because those are things we can discuss at the next meeting. In case we get something. Why didn't I think of that?
Right.
Well, then,
Yeah.
also the project prioritized, like 1, 2, 3, or there's a kind of a ranking system.
Yeah.
You could have
Yeah.
4, and the last 6 could just be, number 3s or whatever.
Sure.
So I think somehow that works. That's how it worked in the past. Like the Hawk and Elkhorn Boulevard was number 1.
Yeah,
That finally got taken care of. After 15 years of bugging it.
yeah. Well, we're still trying to get a sidewalk from the 9040 University, and that's 15 years in. And we're not even halfway there.
Get sidewalks. Now they're making everybody be in charge of their own sidewalk.
Yeah. So, let me see. So let's make a motion that everyone will send your ideas that you have now to me by no later than July 23rd. And I will email you when they are set up, and I will provide a link both to the Google form and let you know that it's live on the webpage. Does that sound?
Must be really talented on the.
So
I have a lot of time.
it's easy, the easy part.
I'll say.
All right. Did I make that motion? I did.
No,
You seconded?
But you stated the.
You stated it well. so.
Okay, so good enough.
So for the notes, you're making the motion?
I made the motion and Laura seconded,
Thank you.
and we'll do a roll call vote. Bob,
Yes?
John, Alex, Bettina,
Yes.
Emily,
Yes.
Kristen,
Yes.
Laura,
Yes.
Sonia.
Yes.
All right, very good. And so that is it for that. We're on to minutes.
Already because I put, Robert Walker's name down as Oliver. Okay.
Please do. One other correction I saw, it's, what was it?
Well, we're gonna do April 1st, right?
Oh, sorry.
Yep, okay. Alex, you had a,
Well, let me see what, this. The person who left Sean's office. Her name is Miriam, not Mary,
oh, Mary Ann Osmond.
Miriam, yeah, so
Yeah.
it's Mary with an AM after it, so it's Miriam.
No, it's all one, Mary Ann, Maryan.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, it is Ann, you're right.
Yeah.
Mary Ann Osmond, yeah.
It's not Mary, that's.
Any other corrections for April?
Yes.
Bettina?
Page 2, under city, county, and state rep. The 1 second dash street assessment, just a little typo. Alleys, Alleys, if that matters. Anybody?
Whose report is it?
At the April.
I know, but.
Oh, sorry. It's under city of Roberto's.
Oh, Alex.
Yeah. And then on page 4, under review, correction, and approval of minutes. The second item was a motion by Danielle, but we don't have the second, and I didn't know if that was critical.
The minutes, the way, if you listen to the tape, it has that they didn't have who had the motion, they had who did the second, but they didn't, so what was added was just those two things.
I just didn't know if it mattered, for the official record, if you had to have whoever seconded it,
I don't know
if they did.
We have.
if you, I can
Yeah.
go. Yeah, the corrections were to add Danielle and or to add whatever was there, because the one section that's missing was already in the minutes.
Oh, right.
The other two pieces of information weren't.
Oh, I
These are from
see.
the March minutes.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay,
These are
got it.
April,
Okay.
April minutes with a correction for the March minutes.
Got it. Okay. All right. June.
Is that everything for April? Okay, I'll make a motion to approve as amended, as corrected.
I'll make a motion to approve as amended.
Bob, and seconded by Sonia. Okay. Approval of April minutes, Bob,
Yes?
John,
Yes.
Alex, Bettina,
Yes.
Emily,
Yes.
Kristen,
Yes.
Laura.
Yeah.
Sonia.
Yes.
All right. These are corrections onto the June minutes. Bettina.
One tiny typo. Page 1. In the middle, members of the public present, online attendees, Roberto. He's missing an O.
It sure is.
Yeah.
Although I'm gonna say honestly, sometimes I hear him. He calls
does
himself
call himself
Robert.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Either one works for me.
Okay. Well.
Don't sweat it. Don't sweat it. All right.
Any other corrections? For June? Anybody? Okay, motion to approve with the correction.
I'll make the motion.
Bettina,
I'll second.
Seconded by Bob. Hey, Bob, roll call.
Yes?
John?
Yeah.
Alex? Bettina?
Yes.
Emily? Yes. Kristen?
Yes.
Laura?
Stating I wasn't here.
Oh, that's right, you weren't here. What about that? One abstention.
Thank you.
And Sonia?
Yes.
All right, that takes care of the minutes. We are on to community updates. If you have any updates for your community, raise your hand. Alex.
Personnel, Cerrito. Yeah, we're still working on having a community walkthrough of the Path Villas El Cerrito building. That's that one made out of shipping containers.
The new one.
On El Cajon
Yeah.
Boulevard, in Dayton Street. It was supposed to be tomorrow, but it's been pushed back now every week for a while. They're still moving staff in and furniture in, and they're probably about 6 weeks behind their own schedule. So I will let you all know though, I'll let Lynn know and tell everyone in case you're interested in walking through the facility before residents move in. There'll be staff there and you can take a look at what's going on. We have set up a community relations group with them. It's being run through the El Cerrito Community Council. So residents will come to us and then we sort of talk to them about issues around the building. There's already been some problems. There was a video taken of probably people who are homeless who started a fire on the bench. It was Maurice in a video. And he went over there and you can see part of his fence was burned on his side of the property. So I sent that to the path contact person. She said, thanks, I got on this because they're also concerned about the security of the building. So this community liaison working group should do well. The other things, we're meeting a community meeting next Thursday, it's coming Thursday, and we'll probably be talking about CIP projects. So timely way. We're possibly going to have someone that the city has hired come talk to us about Measure B. Remember Measure B?
We're getting charged for our trash collection.
Oh, right.
Oh, yeah.
For trash pickup at single family homes. Anyway, the city is beginning the process of community outreach, they call it. But they've hired a, PR firm to kind of run these meetings. So there may be a 20-minute presentation and then polling of people there. What would you like to see around trash pickup besides having not to pay for it, I guess. So we'll see how that goes. And that's up in the air. We just got something today from them saying they're interested in talk to the EACPC. That's really about it for updates. So
Thank you. Online, Jen, community update.
I just want to say that an article that we all participated in ran in the paper yesterday, and I was disappointed in how she quoted us. But we have something Krista and I are working on coming up, perhaps to air, I don't know, to print, to run in August. And I'm thinking about an op-ed that straightens out what we said in the paper. I don't want to disparage the writer, but I feel like she might have been a little bit green and misunderstood some of what we were trying to get through. And so I think maybe we need a follow-up.
Okay, great, thanks. Richard, you had your hand up.
Oh yeah, this was in response to Alex, your comment about the bins or the housing bins. And maybe Bob, maybe this is also for you too. It looks like they're building the same kind of structure, like almost like across the street from the former Rite Aid.
Yes, that's correct.
it is.
Is that going to be housing or something else?
Yeah.
It's the former Howard Johnson.
Right. Yeah.
I noticed it too. Yeah.
It's already 5 to 6 stories high.
I watched them put them in.
Yeah. Huge. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's
Did you
the
have-
college area.
House Studios.
And
Yeah.
I think they are also gonna have some sort of information thing, but I haven't seen it posted anywhere.
Hmm.
Well, and they're only gonna have 50 some odd parking places for the entire place. They're gonna have over 300 units.
Lovely.
Okay,
Along with In-N-Out Burger.
community updates. We're on summer hiatus right now, Redwood Village and Rolando Park.
Yeah,
We do have some cleanups coming up though this month.
Yeah, we have, we're hoping that at some point there's going to be some movement on the signs that go in on Stream View. I know that city was, I think, waiting for us to decide where the thing was, and it occurred to me that, you know, it's probably not the best thing to do to ask us to do that as the city employs, you know, city planners and traffic engineers and all that kind of stuff, to all those type of people to decide where these things should go. And by sort of offloading that to us, sort of ends up taking longer.
Yeah.
You know, it occurred to me today that, you know, asking us to where we should put those signs. I'm not a city planner. I can only speculate on where the best place to put it is. And I'm not a traffic engineer, and, you know, what if we say we want to put it right there and block somebody's view, or, you know, with that kind of thing. So it's that's the only thing that I know of that's in our neighborhood.
Did just have an email today from Lucero that she's checking with environmental services.
Wow.
Number one, we did ask if we could do them in other colors. A larger size. The current illegal dumping signs are 12 by 18, black and white. I didn't even know. I've been down Streamview, I don't know how many times, and there's two there, but clearly no one sees it because there's one right next to a pile of illegally dumped stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I
So,
never saw it either.
anyway, we're talking about another education campaign with the community, Streamview community, aside from the signs that the city will put in. But it's not unusual, John, for the city to ask the community where they want things. They actually came to us when they installed the radar speed signs. We had just designated them for certain blocks, and they started with us first and said, well, where do you want them? And one of them's not quite what I would want. They have one on one block and one on the other block this way.
I mean,
Yeah, but-
as the person being consulted, I mean, did you feel like that you or whoever was making this decision is best qualified to figure out where those are put? I mean, it would feel to me like I would want to hear from a traffic engineer,
Well,
a person who has a degree and who has experience in San Diego. And
well,
you know.
yeah, they're probably not going to put them there. We gave them very general locations. So an engineer is going to go out and cite those,
yeah,
and they will come back and say, oh, well, you can't put it there. How about if we put it here? That's usually
Yeah.
the way it works, I
Yeah.
think. Yeah.
I don't like that they asked us where we
Yeah,
wanted them.
because you know where the dumping occurs,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, and we got.
well, I think they
Be more.
probably, we wouldn't need to tell them because they have hundreds of get it dones in that space.
True.
They have
Yeah,
a
but it's,
regular
but
truck
it's
that-
our, it's our neighborhood. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, I mean,
Yeah.
it's great. We should just ask them and they should take care of it.
Of course,
thing-
but
The thing is, if
Yeah.
by giving it to us to wait for another, you know, like, well, could you get it back to us in 2 months? And that's 2 more months where there isn't any kind of signs, and for the won't be enforced until there's signs up if it is enforceable. But that was my feeling on it, and I know I'm not the only one that it feels that way, but I guess progress turns slowly. That's
Yes.
the only update from our neighborhood.
Okay, thank you. We do have cleanups. We'll email them out because I'll ask Danielle. We have some movie in the park events coming up in this area too. And we'll want to get flyers out on all of them. So I think that's it for community updates.
Yeah, Rolando's dark for July and August.
Yeah, same thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
July and August.
Mhm.
Yeah, we are too.
so are we.
Yeah,
Oh, you
pretty
too.
much.
Okay.
Bob, I have the University Avenue tree canopy on here, but
Do we need to remove it?
I think we can safely say
Yeah.
that we've
Done
did
all
what
we
we
could.
could and we're done.
Yeah, for now.
Yeah, okay. So we won't be reporting on that anymore.
What
Danielle?
happened at the budget hearing? No progress.
No. We did, we were shared a letter from from the city, what's his title? The
Oh,
tree guy.
the urban
The
forester,
urban forester sent to groundwork,
Brian Wagner.
explaining that, they did find that they could put 10 more trees in on University. But they haven't said where there's going to be. And I have a feeling they're not where we would like to see them, which would be between College and Aragon.
Yeah, exactly.
So.
But are we gonna take the 10 trees anyway?
I'll
Of
take whatever I
course.
can get.
I mean, you
Oh,
know,
yeah.
we are, but, you know, as Leslie said, I think her point is well taken to be engaged early on in the process with the community. The city needs to do a better job.
Mhm.
This one, you know, I mean, this is Sandig, but we were 8 years in before we found out they didn't have a landscaping
Yeah,
for this section of University. And by the time you're 8 years in, the plans are pretty much done. And even though the project manager for Sandig was really helpful, we sort of, for the last 2 years, we had a window about 2 years, I think,
Yeah.
before it went to the city for review. But we just didn't get any traction.
yeah, the
on it.
traction wasn't there.
Good lesson to remember, huh?
Yes, it certainly
Especially
is.
for landscape.
Yeah. Ask right up front on every project.
On every front.
Yeah.
Which I think is
Gotta have
why
trees.
it's good to give some kudos to Groundwork for getting engaged on Streamview. Because I think you were not here, Bob, you might have been here like 6 years ago when they first started bringing this project to us to look at. And it was stamp pink concrete and long driveways for everybody.
Mm.
And they kept saying, well, you can't have trees. You don't have a MAD. You know, you have no maintenance assessment.
Right,
Yeah,
but that
you don't
doesn't
have a
make
MAD,
sense.
so how can you take care of those trees? And they didn't want to do it. And then Groundwork sort of got engaged with them and with city engineering. And, you know, it's a different story now. There's 75 trees going in, landscaping.
Yeah, it's great.
So it's just a matter, you have to catch the project early on,
Mhm.
before it gets as far along as this one did.
Yeah,
All the things you learn on the budget.
Yeah,
we tried.
but I know, but I suppose the one plus is that, if there's any redevelopment ever on University Avenue, that will be a requirement for the developer is to
Yeah.
put street trees in. So, you know, if there's ever any redevelopment on University Avenue. Yeah.
Yeah, even if we don't get any say in any of it and it's just ministerial, and allowed completely by right, we should really make a point of saying, hey, we hear this is happening and this is a community. I guess demand is too strong, but requests, maybe something in between we can come up with.
Well, it's something we can add to the community plan update too, that's not in there, is to green up University Avenue.
Yeah, that's a very
Yeah,
good
trees
point.
are so different than shade. At the last mid-city plan update meeting, they started talking about, well, shade, if, you know, if maybe not trees, maybe shade. Well, shade and trees are different.
Shade,
So I think that's a good idea then.
canopy.
It's, yeah. Danielle, are you online? Are you
I'm
going to
still
give us
here.
some parks? Thanks for hanging in.
No
And
problem.
you're going to give us some information.
I'm gonna try. Did you happen to get the slides I sent about 5 o'clock? Is there any way to share a screen or not?
I doubt if I
No.
have them.
Okay. So
Sorry.
maybe you could just share them afterwards and just
Okay.
for everybody, the first 5 slides of the Rangers report that was given to the Park and Rec Board are the most up to date slides. You know, you can look at all the rest of it is a lot of pretty pictures, but there are a few maps in there that are about 7 years old and those definitely need to get updated. So I was able to have a one-on-one meeting with Chief Ranger Mike Ruiz and Erica Fiera from Open Space of the Parks and Rec Department. And we went over stuff with a fine-tooth comb. And unfortunately, it will be a while before those old maps get updated, but the flow charts are what I wanted everybody to look at. So the ranger that was at Choyas Lake, that was just overseeing Choyas Lake, has been promoted. Ranger Kerry Goldstein is now for all of the city canyons. He has the Choyas Creek watershed, the San Diego River, the Otay Valley area, and miscellaneous canyons throughout the city. His boss is Erica, and then the other ranger that she also supervises, his first name is Ed, and he takes care of a lot of things up north, like Black Mountain, Mission Trails, Tri-Canyons, and Los Penasquitos. The rangers that Ranger Mike Ruiz supervises are mainly for the big regional parks. So there is a section for Balboa Park downtown in Presidio. There is a section for Mission Bay and Shoreline. And then there's a section for the CP2, which is Park and Rec south of Highway 8. All of recreation centers, Chicano Park, and other CP1, which is north of Highway 8 as needed rangers. So one of the first slides will tell you that it went from 25 years or so ago, there was one ranger in Mission Trails, and now we're up to 50 or 60 rangers citywide. So there's been a lot of growth in the last several years, a lot of acres added, especially out in the open space. And so a lot of rangers have been added to the budget, and the several flow charts on pages 3, 4, and 5 of the slides, hopefully Lynn will be able to share with you, are very informative. So that was one thing that did come before Parks and Rec Board, and then I followed up with a one-on meeting with them to get all my questions answered. Another piece of good news you might have seen in the newspaper is that all city pools are going to get more money to fix more things that are breaking at all the city pools that are, some of them are still closed even though we're in the midst of a heat wave. If you want that UT article, just email me and I will share it with you. It has lots of details about pools. Let's see. Mid-City Community Plan. I'm glad somebody mentioned to put more trees on University Ave. Request that of the Mid-City Community Plan. The draft existing conditions report is average at best. I remember putting in comments in the original Mid-City Community Plan update back in '98, and so because of that little bit of history I have with it, I had 30 separate comments to give them, and we'll see what they do with any of those, because it looks like we're only meeting quarterly as a working group. For the fire station UT article of yesterday, it's good to hear Jen's reaction to it, because my question was, are those 3 alternative sites that were listed in the UT for the environmental impact report, are any of those actually the sites that the neighborhood is now advocating for, which is the old police substation where the shooting range was, just west of Sunshine Bernardini ball field. So it's good that you were going to do an op-ed soon. And one request I would have of Lynn, maybe as chair of Eastern Area, is to please share that particular article with the other 3 chairs of the Mid-City Community Plan update, so all 3 chairs are aware of the request by the neighborhood not to site it where the city wants it, but to site it in a more appropriate place, according to all of the things we want to cherish in the Choyas Creek watershed. Movies in the park, I don't have any details. If you have any, Lynn, that would be great. I know Colina's already had one, and I know there's some coming up for Rolando Park, and Choice Lake.
Right. Okay, I'll see if I can get a flyer from Lauren, and then ours and Rolando.
I do know that on the Park and Rec website, there are, you know, events coming up where you can click on it and you can find all the movies in the park all over the city of San Diego.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, the Park and Rec website is getting a lot more robust and you can find a lot of stuff on there like current GDPs, projects that are in the works, joint uses, all that kind of fun stuff.
Okay. I see Laura had her hand up. Danielle?
Okay, see if I can answer a question.
Actually, it was just a thought from what you said about Lynn sending out the information on the fire station. We had that wonderful presentation that was given to us by the community had paid a professional attorney or a land use person to look at the site, and they gave us a presentation a few months back, 3 or 4 months back. We could get that presentation also sent to all the people in the mid-city community and they group. That would be good.
Oh, you know, that's, I think that's Paul Simons.
It is.
And yeah, and he's representing Leisure Land. I don't,
Oh, that's what it was.
yeah.
Well, the presentation he did for us was excellent. And
Oh, I know.
And you, is it available? If it's available on YouTube, maybe it needs to be kind of put out there.
I'll have to check. I don't even have his contact information because he usually worked with
I
Leslie and
can
Grant.
share it with you.
Okay.
Okay. Is it good?
Yeah, it was good.
I might have it.
I think the more word we get out for the people writing a new mid-city community plan, the whole working group, everybody that attends as public, especially the 4 chairs of the 4 planning committees, getting that word out about the fire station is pretty critical, since it's in the, you know, the UT and the floods are still fresh in our mind from January and all that stuff. Also too, I know there's a small group of people from my neighborhood that want to go to the next Park and Rec board meeting and talk about park points, because in the draft existing conditions report for the update, mid-city update, they're not doing it correctly according to the new Parks Master Plan that was just okayed a few years ago. And we're the first guinea pig group of, you know, hand-picked working group. And so we got to make sure we cross all our T's and dot all our I's and make sure that all of these little details are taken care of, especially when it comes to parks.
I agree. Thank you. Richard, did you have a question for Danielle? Real quick.
Yeah, real quick. Was it in yesterday's edition of the UT, the article about the the 47th Street fire station?
I emailed it to you
Right?
yesterday.
Monday? Okay, thank you.
It was in the Monday UT, yeah. I can't remember when the one about the pools was, but it was just in the last week or so.
Yeah, that was recent.
Yeah,
Okay.
so Kalina should be meeting next Wednesday, week from tomorrow.
Right. Yep, we will. Thanks, Danielle.
Okay, doke.
Laura, CPC meeting?
One of the things we talked about at the CPC was the infrastructure prioritization and the timeline we've already discussed. We also talked about reimbursement funds for CPCs because of all the different requirements now by the city. People are finding that they have very large costs for setting up a website. We all talked about how expensive it is to get adequate equipment for hybrid meetings and things. So we're looking into upping the request for fees that the community planning groups can ask for reimbursement for. First, you have to spend the money, but then you can get reimbursed. And we're thinking it should be around $2,000, $3,000
annually, or startup just for
that is one of the questions. Startup possibly, but then keeping up with the website costs and things are all coming into review. So people are looking at what their actual costs are. We're going to get a good, hopefully a good request to the city. I don't know what the city response will be.
Okay.
We had another presentation on the short-term vacation rentals ordinance and how it's being so abused by so many people. We had the one by Remy here a few months ago, and the one when she talked about the short-term rentals, she mentioned how one person is so badly using, found a loophole so he can get all these different people's
to help him. They can be a front for him to really be the owner. And they also talked about how the two people who were presenting are from the, I believe, Ocean Beach and Mission Beach area.
Yes.
And so they were pretty much concentrating on how these short-term rentals are completely obliterating reasonable rent housing in those areas. People are buying up apartment buildings and then they're converting the entire apartment building, or sometimes just a few units, because you're not supposed to be able to convert the whole thing. But with this one guy who's got all his fake owners, he'll have one owner owning two, one owner owning two. I think you're only supposed to convert 25% or something like that. But they talked about the impact of really no affordable housing along in the beach areas right now, largely due to short-term vacation rentals. And also, even in Mission Beach, they're only supposed to have, I believe, 30% of the units in the Mission Beach planning group area be short-term rentals. And from what I'm hearing from the Mission Beach CPC, they've got many more. So lots of abuse in those areas. And they were presenting ideas and recommendations and maybe changing some of the loopholes so that these guys can't continue doing what they're doing. Also, there's an environmental sensitive land update coming up with the city council on, and we as citizens and get to make requests for changes up until July 30th. And next month, CPC, we're going to have a subcommittee come to us, a CPC subcommittee, give us a report, and we're going to make a recommendation. It'll be beyond this group's next meeting for that deadline. So if you have any sensitive land recommendations or changes you would like to see to the current code update, be sure and get those in to the city by July 30th. And then the month of August, the city's pretty much dark.
Right.
So anything happening between after July 30th won't happen until September, past Labor Day probably.
The short-term rental, was that an information item?
Yes,
Okay.
it was information and it was it was an action item. That's right. They're coming back to us we're preparing a letter and going to approve it. But,
Okay.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
it's a messy issue. A lot of cities throughout the whole state are working on this, well, the whole world.
Yeah,
Barcelona,
right.
from what Alex sent us, and Vancouver, I think, as well. And then I think it was either Anton or somewhere up in Orange County, just north of us, did a huge short-term rental ordinance now too, so changes. So there's got to be better. A lot of buzzing.com, a lot of problems with parties, except you guys all.
Okay. Oops, wasn't what I wanted to show it all. So just wanted to talk real quick, a little bit. Never mind. Just about the community plan update, because first I want to thank everyone that did come to the meeting, because you sort of blew the city people away. You know, they had a setup there. They didn't have very many chairs at all. And the woman from the company that's facilitating this for the city said, oh, hardly anyone comes to these things. So and they filled, they took every available seat in the Kroc Center, plus they had an equal number online. So I think they might have changed their tune a little bit in that people, are paying a little bit of attention to this. As people asked me if I know about the other people that are in the group, Alex asked me, I do know, I've looked at all of them. I did ask the city who vetted them. And they used their outside group, Ascent did vet all of these people. So supposedly they do live where they said they live. But it's an interesting mix. There's 4 planning group chairs there. There are actually 4 planners in the working group, aside the representative for Normal Heights, Emily Hogwell, is a planner. The Eastern area has 2 planners. I do know Zach Young because he's a member of the Detroit Creek Coalition. And someone who lives in El Cerrito, Angelica Roca, she's a transportation planner. The other guy from the Eastern area is a construction project manager. City Heights is almost all community activists, as you would expect. Yeah. And I think that's about it. I still have no idea what the city is trying to accomplish with this working group. I don't see that they're asking us to make any decisions. It seems sort of forced to get people to make comments the way they're doing it. But I do understand why the facilitator's there. It's an outside facilitator, and that's to take the pressure off of the project manager for the city. So someone else is in charge of driving. So there's less heat for him to worry about. But I do want to give them some props, I think, because they are really have made an effort to get a lot of outreach from the communities. When Alex comes, he says, well, we did 20 workshops, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, but that's something we ourselves couldn't do as a planning group. And the fact that they're out there really talking to the communities and trying to find out their vision for, you know, what they'd like to see change over the next 25 years can't be a bad thing to ask people what they want to see happen. But again, I have no idea what we're doing. The one slide that sort of made me pause, and I can't bring it up here, is about the walkability scores for the mid-city. And the eastern area has the lowest scores. We have many areas that aren't walkable at all. And only part of it, I think, is due to missing sidewalks, because we're just so spread out. It's really a very car-centric planning area. There's some things I recommend that you go out and go through there's a downloadable version. It's about 30 megs instead of 105. But the appendices are out there now. And that's where the real meat is. There's a lot of stuff in there about age groups, income brackets. I noticed something that I think the city, I don't know if they recognize that or not. The whole mid-city planning area is aging. Our age numbers 50 and older are much higher than they were. We're about 25, between 25 to 30% of mid-city now is 50 and above in age. I thought that was significant. I did think I was sort of stunned by the drop in school enrollment. Wow. That's bad. Yeah, it's huge.
Lynn, this is
Yeah.
Danielle. If I could interrupt, that possibly could be because they're only looking at San Diego Unified. That does not probably include any charters or private schools.
Good, thank you.
It's a good policy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we didn't talk about this, Danielle, but we will at the next meeting, and that's where I hope you'll be from here on. Park points.
Yeah,
And
park points, they're going to, some people are going to go to Park and Rec Board to give them a heads up right away, because we've
Good.
only had that one working group meeting. And according to some staff at Park and Rec, that they want to hear more about the community plan updates as they go along, instead of waiting till the very end, like, you know, Uni City and Hillcrest Focus came to us and planning didn't do their due diligence. And so we didn't pass either of them as a Park and Rec board. So they just went on to Planning Commission, LUNH, and at some point they're going to go to City Council this month. But it looks like, and maybe it's good too to have Park and Rec board keep an eye on this, because you know it's kind of a hand-picked group. One of the questions I had is, you know, Alex Frost asked or told us that they were going to, after the board was seated, this working group was seated, that they're going to tell us how these people got picked, and they haven't done that yet.
He did say, again, he said it was handled by their consultant. That seems to be a great way to say, I don't know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So, and another question is, all of these written comments that they wanted to hand us, I took 10 minutes writing out my 30 comments, handwriting them out, as the meeting was starting. What are they going to do with those? They just gonna, file them away and let them gather dust, or are they actually gonna amend the draft?
We can ask that at the next meeting.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That was actually one of my comments. You mentioned all the community outreach that the city's been doing, but is there anywhere where the information is viewable? Like, who did they talk to? What did they talk about? And what were the results?
I think because they're not done yet. I mean, if you go look at the timeline on their webpage, and it's a very long timeline for community outreach. And that's, again, this is a question we should ask Alex at the next meeting, is when will we see the data from this?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, I mean, I have the same concerns because a lot of the community outreach meetings that I've been to are, here's a sticker and go put it on this chart. And it's like, where do those charts go and how is that data tracked? And
Exactly. So
it just seems superficial.
yeah. So I do want to encourage everyone to attend meetings when you can. You can Zoom to these, but it's really important for our communities to weigh in and make comments during the public commenting period. Next time, the September meeting, we are going to be talking about parks. And I have to say, I have some real concerns because this is not a walkable planning area. And Choyas Lake has the majority of the park points. And what's allotted for us doesn't leave us much room to add more parks. Like we want the city to buy Xena Canyon from the school district because it's a headache for them. But how many points will that be? And does that leave points to build pocket parks? We're not going to see any more big parks anywhere, but we need points to build pocket parks in all of our communities. And so I think, I don't even know if the park points they allotted to Choyas took into consideration the library and the rec center that are going to go there, because that space should be deleted from park points. And Danielle, I don't know if you would know this, but if they calculated open space at Choyas Lake, a lot of that on South Choyas is not usable and it is not open to the public. So why should that count as park points? I think so. So these are questions we need to get answered at the next meeting anyway. I just want us to have a dialogue and talk about this. I'll bring stuff back, but we should know what the city's doing here.
One thing too that really I did not understand in any way, shape, or form was they compiled all these facts and figures for the mid-city area, but they did not compare it to the rest of the city. And that is completely out of perspective. And there's no way. A lot of people make comments about how the population in the area has declined between 2000 and 2022, or whenever the last date period was for that. Well, the city in general has lost population. The state in general has lost population. But by just making a focus on just our group, which I understand we're concentrated on our group, but there has to be better perspective. There really does. Because anyway,
I know.
I really want to see that done better.
Okay, did you read the appendices? I mean, there's quite a bit of data in there, I think, but
I don't know that all the people that are on that group, one, it seems like the planners are very young, so their experience in actually having, being out and doing real experience kind of planning, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
And then be sitting on a planning board and listening to community issues is so different than sitting in a classroom and getting your planning degree.
Yeah,
And Laura, be careful what you ask for about data because, you know, a lot of these other plans that have gone through already have been using very old data from Sandag about, you know, exploding populations and all this kind of stuff. Seems like they've swung the pendulum to the opposite corner. I mean, according to our planning chair here in Kental, this planning group has lost, you know, like 2,000 residents or something. And we're going, what? You know, where did you come up with that number? So, yeah, listen to what David Modi has to say because he is a wonderful data guru. He's not just a data wonk, he's a data guru. So whatever, because he reads those appendices and, you know, he's already telling me about park points and stuff and, you know, population figures are way off and all this kind of stuff. So be careful what you ask for. If you want to compare it to the rest of the city, they might be using super old data from Sandag where they'll tell you that, you know, we're going to be having, you know, hundreds of thousands more people move into the county. So be careful.
That point was brought up at the meeting and as far as how their figures need to be the current population figures. And I agree 100% about David. He is somebody to listen to and he's got parks figured out better than anybody. Thanks, Danielle.
Thanks, Danielle. It is 8:51 and let's get out here before 9.
Ooh, that was
A motion to adjourn. Thanks, everyone.
You need help, please?
No, they take care of everything here.
Let's do